Yeah, you're absolutely right, Susan. The rhetoric is hot, not just in Pyongyang, but in Washington. We heard from US President Donald Trump earlier in the week. Wang Yi's speech, much more diplomatic, wide-ranging speech, focusing on everything from development to the future of multilateralism, globalization. A positive speech in many ways, but he did say, you know, the DPRK and the world is at a crossroads. Let's take a listen. China's foreign minister began his speech to the United Nations with a much brighter outlook for the world than some of his counterparts.
We live in an era that is defined by a deepening trend toward a multipolar world, the collective rise of emerging markets and developing countries, steady progress in globalization and IT application, and an exciting new round of revolution in science and technology. In mankind's pursuit of greater development and prosperity, there are great opportunities like never before.
However, Wang Yi said the world was at a crossroads between war and peace, unity and disunity, an urge for diplomacy between the Democratic People's Republic of Korea and the US over Pyongyang's nuclear and ballistic missile testing.
We urge the DPRK not to go further along a dangerous direction. We call upon the U.S. to honor its 4-no commitment, and we call upon all parties to play a constructive role in easing tensions. There is still hope for peace, and we must not give up.
Wang Yi insisted the path to peace is not closed when it comes to the Korean issue, pointing out in 2005 the 6-party talks which China hosted yield a plan that could have led to a lasting peace.
12 years have passed. Some may think that things have changed on the peninsula and the joint statement has become outdated. But we believe that things following the progressive trend of the times never become outdated, and decisions on the right side of the history never become obsolete. If there is any change, anything we need now, it is denuclearization that is more comprehensive, more thorough, and more irreversible.
The foreign minister also used his speech to call for fresh thinking on the Palestinian situation and international commitments to bring peace and reconstruction to Syria. Yeah, it's interesting, Susan, that Wang Yi chose not to focus on Donald Trump's remarks here at the United Nations, but focused on what was it he said there in the piece, 4 no's of US policy. What is that? Well, that was a statement made by US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, where he basically said there's 4 no's, which comes to we're not seeking the regime change in the DPRK, we're not seeking regime collapse, we are not seeking a forceful reunification of the Korean peninsula, and we are not going to move US troops north of the 38th parallel that divides the 2 states. Those reassurances, China thinks, are the basis to creating trust going forward. Wang Yi, as you know, have proposed a freeze on Pyongyang's nuclear and ballistic missile testing in a return for the freeze of US and South Korea, Republic of Korea war exercises. If those 2 things happen, China believes there's a path to peace away from this rhetoric we're hearing.